Hi, Dennis Weiss, Eagle Communications. Welcome to our town. We have Webb Home Center, Matt and Amber Engel. So thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
So I have a surprise for you too. Did you know that right through those doors in there, a whole bunch of your product is being nailed, glued, sawn, pasted together to make the set of this next play?
We have a pretty good idea. Yeah, we appreciate that.
I didn't have any idea. My daughter said, "Who are you interviewing today?" And I told her, and she says, "Ah, we have a whole bunch of their stuff. We get all our lumber there." So very
Good
cool.
deal. Yep.
So that's what we're here to talk about. They're used to me talking about economic development. You're a little bit, because we served on the chamber together, so you've had a fair dose of my medicine, and just enough to keep you sitting on the other side of the table, I think. But anyway,
no, it was a great deal.
We talk about that a lot on TV because we believe that it makes a difference in the world. So here's what you people are to me. You're young, you're entrepreneurial business owners, you took a business, an established business from a generation, and you stepped in and you've continued the success, maybe grew the success. You can tell us that as you go. I think that's a unique story. I think it's important to Abilene, and anything like that deserves to be talked about. So that's what we're going to do. Sound good?
Very good.
Okay, tell us how you came to be Webb Home Center.
Oh, we got to know Bob Webb, who is a former owner, and through kind of building our own home, I guess, and we were doing construction at the time. He was seeking to retire and was ready for that. We spoke, had a number of conversations, and finally took over the business. And that was in April of '08. So from there, we have tried to, we've been in the same location. We've tried to progress with contractors, mainly. We move a lot of building commodity type of materials out. We would love to look to future growth and expansion for the retail side of things.
Okay.
And we've just been really blessed by the local community to share and do business with us at Webb Home Center.
Just before I left the office at Eagle Communications this morning, I saw a commercial that you had made for your paint department. And so tell us about what you're doing. That sounds like retail to me. I just watched the commercial. Sounds like an outreach to retail to me.
We just have recently updated our paint line, brought in whole new fresh colors, and we brought in a different line of paint, still Valspar, but just a different, I guess it's one step above what we have been selling.
Okay.
And so just another, just to offer another option to people that maybe are wanting that top of the line paint to go in their house. It's a really great line of paint. Just another option, another reason for people to come in our store and shop local.
Okay, so I get to say things like this because it's our camera. That's just the way it works. You know, so proud of Webb Home Center and you for doing that commercial, because here's why. Nobody would have a clue that you had a new paint line and what you thought about it, and why it's important for them to understand your new paint line, unless you tell them somehow. I'm glad you did it on Eagle. We love that. We're an advertising business, but you have to tell somebody, and you have to tell them somehow. And to not do that means Webb Home Center won't grow.
Right, yep. And that's our challenge, you know, in a small town and kind of an old lumberyard. We're off the beaten path, and we need people like you to help us get out there, and so we appreciate that. And Eagle's done a good job at promoting our business for us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. You know, I sat here a week ago with Calista Wilson, who bought the flower box. Shot a little interview exactly like we're shooting today. She went home, put it on her Flower Box Facebook page. Her mom shared it. Elizabeth, my wife here, put it on Great Plains Theater's page. In under a week, 2,200 views.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So cool.
None of that's possible unless you sit in the seat, though. Okay,
Right.
to talk about who you are in your business. So thank you for saying yes. I appreciate that. Okay, I have a question for Amber. Okay, now Webb Home Center, when I first knew who you were, drive by your house on the way to work, and then you Hope Auto Sales North sign up there, your building, and you were doing a lot of things out of that building. You had some construction going on. You had a hair cutting shop, still do, because I went by there at 5:30 last night, and your car's out there, and another car, and I said, somebody's getting a haircut in there right now. So here's my question. As a professional hairdresser, is it easy to tell that somebody might cut their own hair once in a while with their horse clippers?
Oh, yeah, I would say it is.
Oh, dang. I was hoping that was going to be a no.
Only to the professional eye.
I was hoping that was going to be a no.
But yours looks really nice.
Yours does look good.
Some people are better at it than others.
That's right.
We'll settle for that. All right. So I think it's an interesting dynamic. I said to your husband this week, I said, so, talking to him about a different subject, I said, you need to say yes to this. And if you don't, next time I see Amber and your son out mowing the lawns up on Buckeye up there, I'm going to stop and buttonhole them and get them to do this. But I told Matt on the phone the other day, I said, you know, it's so impressive to see parents working alongside children. That's passing it on to a generation who's not old enough to own Webb Home Center yet. But that learning to work and doing things like that, that's all part of what makes Abilene great, isn't it?
You bet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks a little hard work, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for all of us.
Yeah, okay. All right, so what's the new lumber business versus the old lumber business? What's changed in the world, Matt, and how are we going to grow Webb Home Center?
You know, we continually see changes, I believe, with products. Right now, why we are doing the digital advertising with the big box stores, the Menards and Lowe's of the world, they're really our competition, and the customers are very well educated, and so we have to try to stay on top of it, and when they have questions, we research them and go after it. There's just more information out there that's easy to access, and you know, so we're continually learning, also continually trying to find ways to do business, you know, mostly locally, but kind of in the surrounding areas. And, you know, that's the biggest change, I think, is just the availability of product and information. Some of these companies that direct ship right to your doorstep. So we offer some of those kinds of services for certain things, and we continue to get a little better at that each year. So that's something that we're growing at as well. So just online sales, doorstep type of delivery, if that's desired. So we can also have stuff shipped into our store. So it's interesting how the market drives us to be, you know, competitive and learn and seek new ways. So
it's interesting for us in this side of the business to watch evolution happen, and we get approached all the time. You use the words on the phone to me: shop at home, local, buy local. In a microcosm, here's what I think about that. The reality of it is we can never force anybody to buy local.
Sure.
What we can do is help people learn how to make people want to buy local, right? So your new paint line, your outreach on digital advertising, your service on adapting to the home delivery if needed, or all those things. And I know you've always done a great job of servicing your contractor base, but that's even changed over the years. People are, cell phones had to change that a little, right?
Yep.
So, and other things. So you simply have to compete with what people want, not what you used to do.
Sure, sure. Yep, and I think an important thing that I've learned too with age, probably, and doing business is...
You're not old enough to learn.
Is how much of a dollar stays in town when it's spent in town, and that's something we've tried hard to figure out and learn and do more and more of. You know, you want to keep as much in town as you can, and some of these other big stores and the Amazons of the world, when you spend money with them, they're not putting anything back into your town, and we want you to do well. We want, you know, every business and every person, and the schools, you know, the schools getting a big portion of what we're doing, and so those are our kids and our future, and our, you know, so we realize that, we learn that through time and watching how that works, and so we try to try to capitalize on it when we can.
Okay, we're going to take a break here and insert a commercial in the middle of this just so we can help you sell something. We'll be right back in just a minute, folks. Hi, Dennis Weiss, back here with the Engel family. Matt and Amber, they run and own Webb Home Center. Matt, you had just given a view on buy local and why it's important. I want to stack something on top of that. We're sitting in Great Plains Theater. It's the #2 tourist attraction in our wider area after the Eisenhower Presidential Library, which is right down the street. This place exists because of buy local. If you break it down, it's called spending entertainment dollars at home and donating your charitable giving at home and supporting through either using your feet to walk in and walk the show or to work and rake leaves and provide costumes. So that all the local people that make things happen keep Great Plains here for us. Your business and my business is dependent, quality of life, on Great Plains Theater. We can't know the answer to this to this question. What would happen if you pull Great Plains Theater out of it and put it over here, and we don't ever want to know? But we can presume that the loss of economic opportunity would hurt us both because the quality of life number goes down. Remember the school bond? We talk about why we want to fund a new school and do those things. Quality of life. Why do we have good streets? Quality of life. Why do we have good water, electrical, communications technology? So people want to live here. People want to come here. You can't just go arbitrarily pulling something out, and I think that's why you can't do shop local quickly. You have to explain what it means through people like you sitting here and going, oh gosh, I know those people. Yeah, I see them. I know who they are. I didn't know they owned Webb Home Center. You know, you just don't know what people don't know. But once you tell them, and once you tell them you have a new line of paint, maybe somebody will just take that little turn and go down the street and take a look and see what you have to offer. And that makes all the difference to your life and mine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
Okay, Amber, you didn't used to work down there. You do now. There's a reason and a story, and I want to hear it.
Yeah, a few years ago, I was doing hair full-time, and Matt said, you know, hon, I think I could really use you down at Webb Home Center. I think you could help me out a little bit. So I took a deep breath. I said, okay, let me think about this. So I thought about it, and I prayed about it for a few months. I just felt like, you know, my husband's asking me to be by his side. Why wouldn't I? So I said, sure. So I joined him, and I work part-time. And you know, my goal is to be a friendly face, to make people feel really welcome when they come in the door, and to just give them the best shopping experience possible. And then I do some bookwork behind the scenes, but I love people, and I love helping people, so my goal is to just be a happy face down there.
How's it working?
Very good. Yeah. The general attitude is much better, and we've had a lot of new employees that, and I say new, but you know, in the last 5 years, but you know, that really add to that, and Amber's a huge part of it. And we were talking about paint earlier, and I know she didn't touch on it, but that's one of her joys too, and the color and decorating. And so when somebody loves something and doing something, it makes it that much better.
Yeah. So. You know, whenever we have guests, a lot of the good things that happen here are kind of by accident, but I prefer to think of it if you invite people that you expect to say good things will happen. And I think you just provided something that's the reason we do this program. Making business great takes decisions, and it takes investment, it takes talent, and it takes a choice. And then you have to go do it every day. But there is nothing more important than if a customer feels welcome or not.
Sure.
Yeah, I just walked out of our office up at on 14th Street, and we have a brand new employee. We have 2 young ladies and a gentleman sits in the middle now, and the gentleman was on the phone, and I overhear the conversation as I go into the other room, set my computer up, and I could tell he was talking about one of our contracts for residential service. I came out and I said, "Sir, are you getting a lot of call about contracts?" Because when you just drift through at 80 miles an hour, that's how you keep touch of things, you know, you ask those questions. He said, "No, not really." I said, "So what was that about?" He said this lady from Nebraska had called and wanted to know if she had her internet and TV bundled, and she wanted to know if she could not lose her advantage pricing, yet turn her internet off. And I said, "Why would she want to do that?" And he starts explaining that she has a young person in her home. She's not happy with what's happening on the internet. And so they had a longer conversation about choices and filters and all this thing. So he gets done. And I said, "Okay, Daniel," I said, "this is not a Dennis Eagle question. This is just a Dennis question." "Okay." I said, "What do you think that lady was really asking you?" He said, "I think she was concerned about her young relative as a person, and she had some history with another young relative that she's basing that on, and she was very concerned about that person's life." I said, "Isn't it amazing what comes in on a CSR phone call?"
Mm-hmm.
The person was hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And they wanted to know if we could help. Well, you know, there's some things we can do, but Daniel's pretty gifted at this, evidently. But my comment to Daniel was, you know, the first thing we can do is listen for what they're trying to tell us or ask us. And at least we can do is be empathetic. And then if we have some solutions, offer them.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to first show you care about people before you care about their problems, right?
Absolutely.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, tell us about your kids. And
our kids?
And your ranch, it's growing out there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a growing ranch.
It went up by 30% last year.
Well, I'll tell you, the grass is growing.
Yeah.
I don't know if much else growing. Well, we have a 14-year-old son, 11-year-old daughter, both very active. Our son has just gotten his farmer's permit to drive and working for Amber's dad on the farm and loving it.
Cool.
But his world's growing by the day.
Uh-huh.
And so the cattle that you speak of, we have some calves that we've always tried to get several calves a year and let them raise and have fun with and just see what it takes to take care of them and the whole process of buying and selling and what it means to figure out some costs in that. Right. So, you know, it's just one thing we can do with them and another way to be with them and be involved and make memories. Mm-hmm. So,
was last year the first year you had calves, or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, okay. Mm-hmm. And you had 2, and then a third one.
Yep.
Now this year you have 4, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
See, I keep track of things. So, and here's why. It's called, I grew up on farm and a ranch, and if I know how many head are in there, I cannot help but count them when I go to drive by. Make sure they're all still alive and their heads are up, you know.
Yep.
Some days I have to slow down to find that 4th one.
Yeah.
You had to, when you put the littler one in there, I see those 2 black heads out there, that little white face, I had to look for him.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're fun.
So I count your herd every day when I drive by.
Very good. That way I know I get a phone call if anything's wrong. So maybe I don't need to worry so much about them.
All right, so we talked about paint's new, Amber's new. Their outreach to people, which is terrific, is not new, but it's improved because you made a choice and put a family in there. So I'm suspecting we got about 5 minutes left. I want to talk about your family effort to make a small business go. How good and fun is it? How hard is it? And what you can say to somebody who's out there working for a paycheck and thinking about opening a business.
I'll let you answer this.
Me?
Oh, good.
Yeah, no.
Well, he's had to do most of the talking.
He's better at it.
Oh man, we'll try to both add to it. You know, I think you kind of already touched on it. You know, when we bought the business, I was working in it pretty much alone, and I did see some things that Amber could really help with, and she's very helpful at home, adding and listening to what I have to say at the end of the day. That's just, you know, first of all, if somebody's going to jump out there and they're a married couple, they need to agree on it together. And if they don't, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. But, you know, I was thankful that she came alongside. It helps her understand the days a little bit better, but also give me some really good support there and good thought process. She was raised on a farm and hard worker and great business family, and so she's got a lot of good input for me. For somebody thinking about getting out and doing it, you know, it's tough. They just need to know that it's something they enjoy. You want to have a little bit of backing or financial support. We were thankful for that from the bank at the time when we did it. They've been very helpful, and then you just have to stay really focused and determined to have a good plan. The plan can definitely change, so, and it needs to probably change with time, and we kind of talked about that as well. So the plan that we had 10 years ago may not be the same one we've got right now looking forward. So I don't know what do you have to add to that?
Yeah, and I think, you know, as a family, I think it's kind of cool just that our kids get to hear, you know, at the end of the day, you know, just how we interact with people, because there's problems that come up.
Sure.
And how do you deal with that? How do you give and take and just make for sure that the customer is happy and there's a compromise that is the best for each one of you? You know, it's kind of neat that they get to hear that, and I think they're learning, even though they might not think they are. They are. Yeah. And, you know, just even though you go through ups and downs, you know, you just keep pushing on. And you keep persevering, you know, through, and you know that, you know, this month may be a little bit down, but we just keep going, and next month may be, you know, looking a little bit better. So it all balances out, but it's just the journey of life, you know. It just it all comes together and works out.
You know, I've been involved in a little bit effort to economic change, revitalization, those sorts of things. I'm passionate about it and occasionally drift through some of those. So you just said something. You had some support financially from your banking institution. You also said, and I think a little in another way, you had people to talk to about things at business, and we're going to label that mentoring because that's going to show up in front of the public on a sheet of paper on something we need as business mentors.
Sure.
So, you know, putting your face in front of the camera and asking you these questions, I'm hoping somebody will walk up to you at West Country Mart or Webb Home Center and go, gosh, I'd like to open a business. Can I talk to you?
We'd be very open for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
all right.
Especially locally. We want to see that happen.
That's right. Right here in Abilene, Kansas, America.
Yep.
Okay, so we've used up our time. It went by like that, didn't it?
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, it always
Appreciate
does.
it, Dennis.
Yeah. Well, so glad to have Matt and Amber Engel on camera with us today from Webb Home Center. But even so much happier that you're here with a business and a family doing what you do in Abilene, Kansas. Everybody that's watching prospers because of what you do and you do every day. And frankly, there are people just driving up and down Highway 15 when you and your son are out mowing those lawns and it's 102 who will go, wow, that's inspiring. So well done.
It is.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
Appreciate it.
Nice to see
Thank
you.
you.
Folks, we know you enjoyed meeting Matt and Amber today. Stop in Webb Home Center, say hello to them. You see them on the street. I'm Dennis Weiss. I work for Eagle Communications. We all wish you a great day.